Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be preparing lasagna. So I've got all the ingredients here, which I will also be listing in the description box. I've chopped up my onions, the garlic and the ginger I've minced. I've got the chili powder, the beef stock powder, the smoked paprika. I've got mixed herbs. I've got oregano and basil in there. And I've also got puree tomato. I'll be using chopped tomato for this recipe, so I'm using 2 cans of chopped tomato. And obviously I've got the minced beef, which I will be using to make the mince sauce. I've got the oil and the salt. So I'm going to go ahead to start prepping the mince sauce. Starting with the mince, which I have placed in a dry pan. I'm going to cook this. I'm not using any oil for it at all, just to make sure the mince is loosened up nicely and is cooked, and I will set this aside, then get on with frying the other ingredients. So I've got oil in the pan and I'm going to start frying the onions, the ginger and the garlic. I'll fry this for 1 minute before adding the puree tomato. So I'll leave this to fry for another 3 minutes. And after this, I'll add the canned chopped tomato. Once I've added this, I'll cover it and leave it to fry for 3 minutes before I add the seasonings. So I'm going to add the seasonings, the beef stock powder, the chili powder, the herbs and the smoked paprika. So I'll mix this and then cover it and leave it to fry until the oil settles at the top, which should take a few minutes. So you can see the oil is coming up at the top, and this actually took about 4 minutes. And the mince is ready to go in at this stage, so I'll be adding the mince. So I'll mix this together and cover it and leave it to fry for 3 minutes. I tasted for salt and it doesn't require any more seasonings. So after 3 minutes, the mince is actually ready. So I'm going to set this aside, then get on with the white sauce. For the white sauce, I'll be using butter, flour and milk. So I'm melting the butter in a pan, then adding the flour. It doesn't really matter what type of flour you use. You can use plain flour or self-raising flour. At this stage, I turned down the heat and then added the milk and continue to mix and make sure it doesn't form lumps. But if your white sauce forms lump, you can do one of 2 things. You can either use the strainer to strain it, or you can blend it in the food blender. But your white sauce should be thick and smooth, just like it is at the moment. I've achieved the silky texture. So I'm going to start to build up the layers of the lasagna. So I'm going to start layering the lasagna. I've got the white sauce, I've got the lasagna sheets, and I've also got the cheese, which I have grated. I'm using cheddar cheese and mozzarella cheese, but you can use any cheese that you prefer. Any cheese of your preference is absolutely fine. So I've got the green pesto, and I'm using this to flavor the white sauce because the white sauce can be bland, but adding the green pesto actually gives it this rich flavor. I'll be putting the link to my green pesto recipe at the end of this video. So once I finish mixing in the pesto, I'm going to start to layer the lasagna in the oven dish. So I've got my oven dish, and starting with the mince at the bottom. This is to stop it from sticking. Anyway, then I'll add the lasagna sheet. This lasagna sheet doesn't require boiling. You don't need to pre-boil it. Thank God for whoever invented this. I spent all these years boiling lasagna sheet, and this makes so much difference, and it makes things so easy, because this is a dish that we really love in this house. My children love lasagna, and knowing that I have to prepare this without having to boil the lasagna sheet, which can be quite tasking, it's a huge relief. So continue to alternate the ingredients, so the mince, and then the cheese, and then the lasagna sheets again. So you continue to layer this up until you get to your desired layer that you want to build your lasagna. So sometimes you have to fill the dish depending on the amount that you're preparing. So I've layered this lasagna to the top of the oven dish, and I'm using the mozzarella cheese to do the final topping. This actually gives it a moist and glossy look or glossy appearance. So I've got the oven proof paper, which I've scrunched up and used to cover the oven dish, and then I topped it up with the kitchen foil. I've preheated the oven to 180 degrees, and I'll be putting this for 30 minutes. I'm covering it because I don't want the cheese to burn before the lasagna is cooked. So after 30 minutes, I remove the covering, and then I'll be putting this back in the oven for 15 minutes. You can see with the greaseproof paper, the cheese just drops off easily, it doesn't stick to it. So after 15 minutes of baking it in the oven uncovered, it's ready, and you can see the look of it. It's still bubbling, so I'm going to leave this to cool before cutting. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and send any comments. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.